Can't sleep. I'm lying in bed every night and images of Gaza are running through my head. Fathers holding their babies, dead, caked in dust. Bombs dropped on homes, on hospitals, on schools. Tens of thousands of dead in indiscriminate bombings. Children crying, pulling through rubble to find their families. The inhumanity of the soldiers is unbearable. They shoot civilians in the street, imprison and torture children, and strip and humiliate innocent men. But the soldiers are having fun. They're posting to TikTok, doing some war crimes, then celebrating on the beach. I hate them, I hate them. I can't work. I code for 5 minutes before their bodies come back. I must work, but who can do a startup through a genocide? When 20,000 are dead, when the Israeli-imposed starvation is setting in. I try though, the distraction is good for me. I look at my colleagues, the founders, the investors, my network, my friends, my advisors. I'm afraid to open their Twitters. Each time I do, it's a roulette. Is it business as usual? A new fundraise? The latest in AI? A new model released? The blasé posts are a relief. I can tell myself that they're censored, afraid to speak up about the genocide, unable or not knowing how to do it. That's understandable. The propaganda kills me. People I thought were friends were allies. So much humanity for those killed on October 7th. None for the people killed on the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, or in November or December. 20,000 people killed by deliberate, indiscriminate bombing. None either for the people killed on October 6th, 5th, 4th, for the people massacred in 1948 and since. No protest of the illegal occupation, the illegal settlements, the razing of villages, and the olive groves. They don't exist to them, they didn't happen. Have they no questions about why 2 million people live in Gaza and how they came to be there? How Israel carefully controls the calories allowed into Gaza, keeping everyone starving? That Israel can turn off the water, can turn off the electricity? That this is something a country is able to do to a people? That this is something a country is willing to do to a people? Is this what Israel is? The tech outpost, the US ally, the beacon of democracy in the Middle East? A country that kills journalists and writers in surgical strikes? That forces doctors away from ICU babies, leaving them to die and rot in their incubators? Whose snipers shoot children and grannies in the head? When the co-founder of Hamas was 9 years old, his uncle was massacred by Israeli soldiers in the Khan Yunis massacre, along with 274 other unarmed Palestinians. He was shot in house-to-house searches. Others were lined up and executed. How many Hamases are being created today? When you read about the Holocaust and the Nazis, you like to imagine you'd be the good guy. You'd fight the Nazis, you'd free the concentration camps. But apparently I wouldn't. Apparently I would have just sat there paralyzed, incapable of doing anything about the genocide I see every day. Unable to think of any way to help. All I can do is retweet and protest and write a stupid blog post. I feel so stupid. I wasn't ready to see that my friends are brown shirts. That they actively cheer on the genocide, the anger, the desire, the need even for retribution against innocent civilians. I wasn't ready for my friends being camp guards, party officials, propagandists. The propaganda is real and organized and obvious. Posting about anti-Semitism in universities to cover indiscriminate bombing of civilians. Have you no shame? Repeating Israeli claims which have no proof and no credibility. Keeping the discussion anywhere except on Palestinians being murdered in Gaza. Denying the number of dead because the numbers are reported by Hamas. Of course, everyone is Hamas now. The child ripped in two by an MK-84 is Hamas. The woman screaming for her sister, digging in the rubble, she's Hamas. The orphan 9-year-old, now the sole parent of her 4-year-old brother, both are Hamas. Sometimes I work out how many people my taxes have killed. Intrusive thoughts. Maybe they're used for roads or healthcare. But maybe I bought a bomb last year and it razed a city block in Khan Yunis. Maybe it killed 50 people. Maybe I killed 50 people. My investors keep posting how unsafe the kids feel at Harvard, railing against From the River to the Sea, as they conveniently omit Palestine will be free, canceling TikTok for teaching the kids history instead of US and Israeli propaganda. Anything to keep your eyes off the rubble that Gaza has become. The trail of tears to an empty desert, bombed and shot as they go. Anything to avoid their own culpability in this genocide. They are Hess. They post Israeli flags on Twitter as Israel drops bombs on Gaza. They protest a ceasefire. They protest a fucking ceasefire. I don't know what to do. But I know these are not my people. Who can work with people whitewashing genocide? Are we supposed to pretend it's business as usual as we send our friends intros, frolic at conferences, discuss monetization strategy? To Ed Sim, Erica Brescia, Michael Deering, and especially Matt Oko, we're done. I'll never pitch you again, never ask for help, never said intros or recommend you. I'm done with Bold Start and DCVC and Harrison Metal and Red Paint. I'm also done with Bessemer and Sequoia and First Round. I'm ashamed that these are some of my biggest supporters over the years. The people who invested in me twice, the people who helped, who advised. I cannot work with the people whitewashing a killing, the people who know it's happening and who cover for it, who support the IDF and the US administration which allows it, which funds it. October 7th was an atrocity, and so was every day since then. 20,000 Palestinians have been killed by indiscriminate, deliberate Israeli bombs. Atrocities happened long before October 7th as well. The occupation was no secret. Hundreds of Palestinians killed each year since the Nakba. The rest kept under the Israeli boot, stripped of their rights and homes and dignity. Their politicians tweet about Palestinians like they aren't human. They discuss them like their lives don't matter. They call them animals. They have killed thousands of Palestinians and give every indication that they will continue the genocide. They are saying it out loud. I can see it. And so could Ed and Michael and Matt and Erica. They simply chose not to. Actions. Pro-Israeli investors have created a culture of fear in tech where supporters of Palestinian freedom feel unable to raise their voices. I have spoken to many people in tech who are afraid that if they speak up, they'll be unable to raise their next round and lose 5 to 10 years of work on their venture for their families and for their employees. We must break the silence around the genocide in Gaza. I know this is a big ask. I know there are significant risks involved and that's not your fault. But all the same, we cannot continue to be complicit in this genocide. Above all, name it. Say publicly what you see happening and say what Israel and the US are doing is wrong. Feel silenced? Say that. Just like most in tech made Black Lives Matter statements in 2020, come out and say Free Palestine. Put a banner on your website. Secondly, don't take money for investors who whitewash genocide, namely partners at Bold Start, DCVC, Harrison Metal, Red Point, Bessemer, or Sequoia, or First Round. Tech workers, don't work for companies who take funding from these firms. If you already work there, contact management and the founders, ask difficult questions in all hands, anonymously if you need to, threaten to get a new job. Actually do get a new job. Founders, don't take money from these firms. If you already have, contact your partner to register your discomfort and ask them to divest. Prevent them from investing in later rounds. Attend a protest. Find your local U.S. Jewish Voice for Peace or international protest. Call your representative and senator. Follow Palestinian journalists and sources to follow what's happening in Gaza through their eyes. Finally, please share this post.